Absolutely.
And in real true sports, always.
True school sports.
True school sports.
There you go.
Always.
Brendan Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with my main man, Stacey McKinley. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I can't complain. It's great to start the year off talking to you, obviously.
Thank you. It's nice being interviewed by you.
Absolutely. So let's get into it, man. You worked the corner for the Yuriorkis Gamboa fight, and you played quite a role in him being able to finish the fight. Could you just describe to people like what that was like in the corner for the night?
Well, it was unfortunate that he tore his Achilles heel, which is very painful, But in the second round, if you heard the audio, he was saying that he couldn't continue. So I was talking to the referee, and the referee said that he would give him to the third round, he'd give him another round, and I wanted to tape his leg. So he said, okay, I'll give you the third round. You can do it in the third, you can't do it in the second. So when I put the tape on his ankle and around his Achilles heel, he responded and he said that I feel better. The support was better, so he went out there and he fought with a lot of heart and a lot of guts, and he continued, and he showed that if he was 100%, that it may come out a different story. Because I actually thought that he would win the fight. I thought he would actually win the fight, but we got injured. I knew he was only boxing at maybe 65%.
Yeah. So like you mentioned the performance, Tank Davis had never been past for like 7 or 8 rounds.
I think it's 9 rounds as far as they've gone.
9 rounds, and he, even with the injury, he still showed the ability to hit, not hurt him, but like he hit him flush quite a few times throughout the course of the fight.
Yeah, he hit him with some good shots. Tank had begun to tire. I think it was a psychological thing, and this weight loss that he has, walking around at 50 pounds over the weight class, is really hurting him. I knew that he was big because everything they do, they put it on the video. So they put it on social media, and I knew his weight was up. I knew that he was late coming to the weigh-in, and then once he got there, he couldn't make weight. So now he went and took another hour off, and I said, it's going to hurt him down the stretch. And it did. If you saw in the 7th round, he began to get winded, and he knew it himself. So he started backing up. Once he started backing up, we had him. But you back him up like that, because if you fight a left-hander, if you let him use lateral movement or come forward, you got a problem. But if you can back him up, then that's the way you fight him. So once he started backing up, the momentum shifted toward Gamboa.
Yeah. Do you think like if maybe the Gamboa that showed up for the Crawford fight, if he had been anything close to that, do you think the outcome would have been different?
Yeah, oh yeah. I think it would have been a whole lot different than Crawford. Crawford was a seasoned veteran, and plus he was 2 weight classes higher.
Yeah.
I say, and this Gamboa trained very hard. Technically, physically, and mentally, he was strong. And I knew it. I had excellent sparring partners with him. Rafael Menzer, whose record is 30-1. We had, I think his name is Brandon, out of Cincinnati, who's 19-2. So we had speed, we had strength, we had power, and all different types of conditioning and training. So everything was perfect for him. It's unfortunately that he had that injury. And I had to look at you have to look at the overall picture. You have to look at the overall picture when something like that happened. You just can't say, well, my fighter is injured, we're going to stop the fight. He can't continue, we'll stop the fight. The fight is too big. It's more than just a fight in the ring. You have to understand that you have to, first of all, you got 15,000 people there. Okay, those 15,000 people come there to see a fight. All right, you got Showtime, the network, the producer, the production itself. The production itself is you got to understand how the television works. So there's a lot involved in a fight, especially a fight of that magnitude. But if you got a fighter like Gamboa, who I knew has the heart, he has the conditioning, he has the mindset, the mental strength to go in there and endure that pain, which is severe pain from what I understand. People who had this injury before, they couldn't believe that he could continue into the 12th round or even go one more round. But I knew what was at stake, and I knew that his career was at stake. So he went, he got a moral victory. He had a lot of fans behind that. And I think the networks was, Showtime was pleased, Mayweather Promotion was pleased. PBC was pleased. Al Heyman. You got to take all this stuff had to be taken in consideration, and it take a lot of experience to know these different things, because you just can't say, okay, the fight is over with. Now you got to upload it. Production look bad. You got the network's sponsors. They don't like it.
Yeah.
Gamboa's career is in limbo behind it. So there's a lot you got to take in consideration, and I have to really respect the referee, because as I was talking to him during the fights, he understood. He understood exactly what I was saying. You know, they wanted to stop the fight. One time the doctor come up and I said, Gamboa's okay, not putting him in jeopardy, because I knew the type of conditioning Gamboa was in. And I knew at 65% that he could still perform.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you were kind of in a way like the star of the fight. You were able to wrap his leg when he tore his Achilles. Could you just talk about, like, when you saw his leg, what your thoughts were, and how you on the fly had to think outside the box and wrap his leg?
Well, one thing they were saying in the beginning, the first round, they were saying that something was wrong with his shoes. And they kept saying something was wrong with his shoes. And I'm looking at the shoes, and I couldn't tell whether something wrong with his shoe or whatever. I couldn't tell until he came back in the second round, and his manager, Tony Gonzalez, told me, he said, look, his ankle is hurt. His foot is hurt. So I said, well, then we have to give me some tape. You have to wrap it. Got to put it in the cast.
Yeah.
And so I asked the referee. The referee said, I can't let you do it in the second round, but I give you the third round to get it done. So once I got it done, got it wrapped, I know that it's going to feel better. I mean, you do it in basketball, football. You have those injuries all the time. So I knew that once we put that tape on there real good and tried to make a good cast, then he'd be able to perform. You know, it wasn't going to be his top performance, but he could stay in the ring because of his condition, his mindset, and his technical skill set.
Absolutely. And I gotta say, it was a really great corner job by you. I gotta say that.
Well, we all working together, and everybody agreed. His head trainer, his father, everybody. It was one of the best camps I ever been in, because working together works. And a lot of times you come in there and you have a dissension in the camp. This guy don't like this guy. We don't have that with the Gamboa camp. Everybody working together. Everybody knew what their job was, and so I think we did a fantastic job. His head coach was one of the greatest amateur coaches from the Olympic teams in Cuba. Yeah. So he's a well-known coach. His father took him to multiple championships. So we had a really solid team, and it's I'm very proud to work with him.
Yeah, you seem like you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed his work ethics. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do all these different types of things. So you work with a guy like that, you got to appreciate all that, and you try to give him your most, and he'll appreciate what you do for him. A lot of these fighters, I knew that Tank Davis was living bad. I knew it all along. I knew that he was drinking. I know that he's hanging out. I know he had a weight problem. And all these things don't work against him. I knew that all along. I also knew that his trainer didn't have the experience going into the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th round. Yeah. It's a whole different ball game. If you notice one of those rounds, I think it was maybe the 8th or 9th round, Tank asked his corner, what should I do? What should I do next? What should I do? Which means he was confused. He was confused, and they didn't have no answer for him. No. So this is the thing that I was saying in the press conference, that this stuff was going to come about in this fight, and it did, because Tank started getting hit, and he couldn't figure out, well, I'm getting hit, and this guy's not going down. But like I told him earlier in the press conference, I said, look, you're talking about Tank Davis' power and his punching power. I said, I can go through through the history of boxing. Okay, you look at George Foreman. George Foreman, one of the hardest punchers ever lived. But he fought a guy by the name of Jimmy Young, who couldn't bust a grape. I said, what Jimmy Young do? Jimmy Young beat him. What did George Foreman do after the fight? He said, I'm not going to fight anymore because I saw Jesus Christ. I said, now, yeah, you look at that. Then you look at Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers was one of the most fierce punchers ever been in the ring. And they say he was next to Joe Louis. He's the next to Joe Louis. He's undefeated, coming up, knocking everybody out. So what happened to him, the big puncher? They put a little white boy in there who's a good friend of mine, God bless his soul, Jerry Quarry, turned him over. I said, you look at Mike Tyson, one of the most fierce punchers in the world. So we're not worried about punching power. We're not worried about punching power. I say, it's about technique and skill. I say, and everybody's talking about Wilder's right hand. That's all he got is a right hand. He doesn't have enough. So we wasn't worried about Tank Davis' punching power and ability and all this, because we know the Gamboa can handle it.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. We're at the Davy Powell, and you're watching True School Sports.